Hey there, Steve G for Chef Knives to Go with another quick look product review, and this time we're looking at the Yahiko Aogami Super Kurouchi Tsuchime Gyuto 210mm knife. So there's a lot there to unpack. The AS stands for Aogami Super. So this knife has 3-layer construction. The core steel down the middle that you can see right here, peeking out from this cladding, is Aogami Blue Paper Super reactive high carbon steel. So it is a reactive steel that will patina or stain. You have to make sure you don't leave it sit wet. The cladding, however, is stainless, so that makes that a little bit easier on the maintenance. Heat treat on that core steel is typically around 63 Rockwell, so Aogami Super is really nice kitchen knife steel. It's got a really good edge retention, but it's reasonable to sharpen. It's got some extra alloys in it. The weight and dimensions can vary a little bit from knife to knife, but this particular one is 136 grams or 4.8 ounces. The handle we'll take a look at in a second, but it's octagonal. It's a cherry, which is a really nice wood with a black packawood ferrule. Edge length is right about 216 on this one, so it's a little oversized, so extra length for you. 8.5 inches on the edge. The overall length is about 14.5 inches with the handle, or about 370 millimeters. These knives are pretty much the same across the thickness of the spine. This one's about 1.9 millimeters, and pretty much just all across the spine. 1.9, 2.0 is what you get. And you can see where the flats, which have a hammered finish to them, we'll get to that, are ground down towards the edge. And so the tip's ground down. The tip's pretty thin on this. Camera to focus. So it's nice, thin, high performance tip right there. So there's not a lot of distal taper, but as soon as you hit that grind, shoom, it just starts thinning out towards the tip. And it's also thin at the edge. So this would be a good performing knife. Height about 46.3 on this sample. It's got a thin neck right here, and this has a little bit of a decent sized gap here between, this is called the choil, into the curve here in the neck. So it's a great spot for your pinch grip right here, and you can just nestle your finger there for a pinch grip. So there's plenty of height here for cutting board clearance. Balance point, a fairly light handle, so the balance point's going to be a little forward, which if you pinch grip, that's great. So here's your balance point. Pinch grip for me is slightly behind that, so you get it's pretty neutral, but you get just a touch of weight forward balance bias to it, which gives you just a little bit of a more oomph to the blade when you're cutting stuff, but it's pretty neutral. I mean, it's under 5 ounces, so it's still a light blade. Let's get our beauty shot here. So this blade has a hammered Tsuchime finish. It's kind of got a random hammered pattern on it, and it's also got what's known as a Kurouchi, or a blacksmith protective finish on it. This is a stainless cladding. It's kind of a sandblasted blade right here where the grind is towards the edge. Here's your core steel peeking out towards the edge from the cladding. So each one's going to be a little unique. You do have some engraved kanji on this side of the blade. It's kind of hard to tell because it looks like it was done and then the Kurouchi finish was applied, the KU finish. But it is there. Each knife's going to be unique. And then there's some, looks like probably embossed, maybe laser kanji. I think it's embossed. They're getting better and better at this stuff. So it looks like it's embossed kanji right there on the left side of the blade. Again, here's your hammered pattern. Grind down towards the edge, core steel, and edge bevel. So really nice looking knives. This kind of geometry here, the way it's ground and the texture to the edge or to the blade flat should give you some nice food separation plus food release as well. So nice pattern, but it's also thin at the tip and thin at the edge for performance. So this should be a really nice combination. Fit and finish is well done. There's not a lot of rounding to the corners of the spine, but they've got a little bit done, and they did a nice job on the corners of the choil here, a little bit of relief there, so it's quite comfortable. This one had a nice out of the box edge. I'm going to give it 6 or 7 out of 10 on my scale, which is pretty darn sharp. And Even though the knife's fairly thin, it's still pretty stiff due to the construction. Let's take a look at it on the cutting board. So this particular knife here has a nice smooth transition all the way down to the heel here, and there's not a lot of flat. It just kind of rolls into the heel. So I'm not hitting a stop at any point. I'm just rolling into that heel. So I'd say if you want to chop, you've got this section here, but you can still see a little belly there. And then as far as the tip goes, let's see. We can get that thing up in here before it starts digging in. So this thing should rock pretty nice on stuff. I would say it's not a big chopper, but it's going to rock really nice. You could do tip draws with it if you wanted to. Push-pull cuts, glide cuts, stuff like that, but it's fairly curvy overall. So if you're looking for a great kitchen steel, reactive steel on the core, but cladding on the cladding, stainless on the cladding, there I said it, for a little bit easier maintenance, something that's thin, high performance, really nice looking, just nice lightweight, but really effective package. This is the Yahiko Aogami Super Kurouchi Tsuchime Gyuto 210mm knife from Chef Knives to Go.